What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Black Line Blueprint. We have a special episode back with Muhammad Musharaf. Did I say that right this time?
Yeah, no, that was a perfect pronunciation. Oh my God.
I said it right. I said it right this time. Okay.
Hey,
So fresh off of another TKO victory. Mo, man, how does it feel to have another one in the bag like that?
uh, I feel very proud of how far I've accomplished or how far I've come and the things I have accomplished. Um, yeah, legitimately, like just taking the opportunity this time around to appreciate the accomplishment, the achievement, you know what I'm saying? Normally like I'm like, oh man, like it's done. Let's go on to the next one. It's this time it's more like
Right.
uh no, it's like I'm actually happy and I'm actually appreciative of how I got that victory, but more so of the journey to get towards that victory. It's been a long journey, man. Like, yeah, I had my first my pro debut back in January of this year, but this camp or this boxing career started like in September of last year. So I'm about to hit a year soon uh, in boxing. And yeah, in about like a month and a half. So it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey. A lot of improvements have been made. There's still a lot of things that I can definitely do better. But how far I've come, the improvements have definitely made, the growth that I've gotten, physically, mentally, and then emotionally has been uh, has been a journey, has been a process, and I'm very glad. Alhamdulillah, thank God for that.
Yeah, man. That's big, man. And it's been just a short period of time too. You know what I mean? Just to have and I think we underestimate like how much growth can happen within a year. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like how much growth can happen within a year. And especially I feel like nowadays with how quickly, it feels like time is passing by. At least for me, feels like time just escapes us now. But
Mhm.
when we look back and now we can see all that growth. But yeah, man, like I'm proud of you as well, like seeing your growth because I know like just working with you now, there's a difference in just the way that you approach things now
Mhm.
and how much you actually, communicate. You're more responsive. You pay attention to the little details that we've talked about some because at first it was just like, oh, all right, let me just go ahead and do this thing or whatnot. But now it's like more attention to detail. So I can definitely tell, and I'm proud of you too, man. I am.
Oh,
I'm
thank you, thank you.
definitely proud of you, brother.
Appreciate it, appreciate it,
Yeah.
appreciate
So
it.
you said this camp was pretty hard and different. So what was different about this camp for you?
Man, I had dogs this camp. I was sparring dogs, just straight dogs. Uh, I sparred Terrence Williams. He was on the card. I sparred Johnny Garcia. He was two of my main sparring partners on the card. Joseph Hernandez. He wasn't on the card, but I was sparring him as well. Shout out to Coach Ali for facilitating all of that, and Coach Anthony Vasquez from Four Corners Boxing as well. And, shout out to both of them. Coach Monette from Flowers Lab Boxing. Shout out to him. He had his fighter, I think it was Giuliano. Uh, but yeah, he invited us over one day during this camp. Did 8 rounds with his fighter. Dog. I was like dogs, just straight dogs, just straight dogs. And shout out to like all the amateurs at Fight Fitness Center as well, at Coach Ali's gym. Man, David Bruno. We got Jose Membrano, um, Emiliano. I don't know his last name. Man, straight dogs, all of them dogs. Great team at Fight Fitness Center. Coach Ali's doing a great job with all his fighters. Coach Anthony and definitely is a great coach, and he's doing a great job with Terrence as well. Terrence is a great fighter. Um, Joseph, vet. it was like learned a lot from Joseph, especially the rounds that I got from him. Like a lot of the little, like, the sneaky stuff. I was like, oh man, when you're in the clinch, do this. I was like, try to stop like from hitting you, try to get your hands out, try to take this step instead of trying to take that step. Little stuff like that. And I didn't really even think about the nuances, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
doing that. And then man, Johnny is just this camp, he just brought it. And like I've sparred Johnny before. But this camp, it was like I think he was a lot more motivated from his last fight. And, he's just on a good now, like me and him, both of us, like we're on a good winning streak. So like he just brought the momentum and he just was a dog in the Rich Car ring that when we were sparring. So it's like, yo, definitely, definitely. Learned a lot from Terrence as well, man. Like, man, shit. I don't ever like while I was sparring him, I don't ever think he ever made a mistake. So so I had to be on my P's and Q's every single time I sparred him, man. I was like, shit. Man, shout
Right.
out to him. Like, yeah, so I was like, it was good. It was good. And they're great sparring rounds, but on top of that, man, it was like Vince, thank you, Brian. Like, I know he's gonna be watching this, or if he does get the time to watch it, it's a big shout out to him. And I'm very thankful to him, thankful to God that he is my coach. One thing that he said this camp to me, it was like, man, you're not gonna really have these big jumps anymore. It's just not gonna happen. I think like in my first camp, or going into my first camp, my second camp it was like I was just going like shoot straight. This camp was more like, okay, now we're plateauing. And so I wasn't getting these high jumps. So he was telling me, it was like, man, focus on the little things. Focus on the little improvements that you can make, you know? And this is where I feel like a lot of the things that he has preached in the past, where he was like, man, journaling, journal things down, write things down, make a schedule. Uh, I've always done that. Um, but this time around, I was a little bit more intentional on especially like what I'm doing and what I'm improving on or what I'm trying to work on. So, in sparring and boxing for me was like, oh man, just because like I'm so brand new, I was like, man, I just need to compete, take these guys' will. That's it. Like that's how I need to be. I just need to be a dog. But this time around, it was like more, nah, man, this round or like this day is gonna be, I'm gonna be focusing a lot on this jab today. I'm gonna be focused a lot on my base, but like making sure like my hip doesn't break or like I don't break my hip. I like my legs are still underneath me, and like focus on slow, small, subtle things in sparring. But that also came through my training as well. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm doing my training, how can I make this jab come out smoother, much more relaxed, much more nicer? What type of mind body connection do I need to be thinking about? What type of where should be my weight when I'm like in my base, like no on my balls of my feet, or is my hip breaking while I'm like throwing these punches? Am I rotating fully while I'm throwing these punches? Stuff like that. Am I moving my head? Am I positioning correct? All these little things, like small. It's like and it's like small shit that. No, sorry about that. Sorry about cursing, but it's like small details
You're good.
that you wouldn't. I want to say like the average person or the average athlete wouldn't think about. So I had to start thinking at a higher level. And that was where the challenge was. And I felt like I actually accomplished that challenge, or achieved that challenge, this camp. Like I want to say I'm like a religious person. I'm definitely gotten more spiritual over the years. But this camp was like a lot more spiritual for me, where I was like, I was asking God, I was like, man, like I need this type of camp where I challenge myself to grow. Like I need to grow. And I don't want someone else to make me grow. Like I always counted on my partners, my coaches to push me to grow. This time I was like, no, like I need to grow. I want to grow. I want to be my catalyst. I don't want no one else to push me. There should be no reason for someone else to motivate me or keeping me on check just to be disciplined. No, it's like this has got to be me. This got to come from me. And damn, like that was that was a big thing. Like I actually had a lot of conversations with myself this camp as well. All the way up until the fight, I was in the back, man. Like I was thinking in my head, and I was like, man, like did we do the work? And I was like, it wasn't like, yeah, we did the work. It was like more like, no, like, did we do the work? Like, give me some evidence that we did the work. And that's where journaling definitely helped out a lot for me on this camp.
Kind of looking back into your journals, you were like, okay, I can see where the shift and the transition happened, so to speak.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely, big time,
Yeah.
big time. Um, I would definitely have to say this is the most athletic I've ever been, the sharpest I've ever looked. The IQ's finally like clicking for me, and like I think like every fight my IQ gets better, but it's like
Yeah.
um, I didn't count on sparring to get my IQ better. I actually counted on watching tape, like of like fighters of like who I want certain. I don't want to say emulate a certain style. So say like if Vince was telling me, I was like, man, like you're not rotating on your cross fully, or you're not doing this right. Now like start looking at like fighters who have a great cross or a great right hand or a great left hand. Doesn't matter if they're orthodox or southpaw, but like how they're rotating, how they're landing their cross and stuff like that, and then try to see what I'm doing with myself up in front of the mirror while I'm shadow boxing, and then like try to like get as close as possible from learning other movements and visualizing it and then implementing it on my own. And then once I go onto the bag and hitting pads with them, really honing in on that. And then that just transferred into sparring, you know. Because like in sparring, like I'm not thinking about it's like, oh man, am I sitting down a little bit? Am I bending my knees? Nah, it's like
Right.
if I
Right.
think
Right.
about that, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get knocked out. Yeah, I was like, it's like it was just like, man, just go. It's like trust
Yeah.
yourself and just do it.
Of
Yeah.
course. I think that's really big. So kind of going back to what you were saying about just your improvement overall. So, and we know when it comes to any type of skill, right? Like at the beginning, when you're first learning it, you're gonna like have this huge incline of improvement. Like you're gonna improve very rapidly. But then as you get those foundations down, as you put more reps in on those foundational key pieces, now it's like, okay, now we have to fine tune and you don't see as much improvement. And so
Mhm.
your transition into being like, oh, okay, I'm going to just focus on the small little details now and really hone in
Mhm.
on those. That I believe definitely helps when it comes to keeping your mind in the game, right? Keeping
Mhm.
yourself focused and dialed in instead of being like, oh, I'm not making an improvement. I'm not doing enough, or I need to be doing something else, or maybe I'm not where I need to be, or maybe this isn't for, you start second guessing, thinking about all these other things. It's just like, no, this is a natural process that happens with everything in life, right? A natural
Mhm.
process. So the way that you approach that is really good, man. And that's a lesson for anybody to take from. Like they can take a lesson from that and be like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it is normal for me to kind of hit that plateau, that ceiling, and then have to worry about the fine little details that just gives me that little inch forward. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really big.
yeah, yeah. No, like most definitely. It was just like, man, like that, and like that small advice because I remember like the first week and a half, maybe 2 weeks of camp. It's like, man, this is ass. Like I'm not seeing anything. Like why is this so fucking hard? And Vince was telling us like, man, like you're just not gonna get that jump anymore. You're just not. I was like, you might again, maybe. I was like, right now you're not gonna get that. I was like, because you've been doing it for so long. And I was like, I was like, before, like I was more hands. And I was like, so he wanted me to focus on my kicks. And that was the same thing that happened with my left kick. My left kick jumped immediately. My hands were like, eh. So, but it's like, it didn't really get much of an improvement. Now it's more like, okay, now I'm like sitting down on my punches more. I got to work on my base a little bit more. I got to work on my footwork a little bit more. Little few things like that, you know? And like after actually rewatching some of this fight, and I was like, oh man, like, you know what? I need to add this into my game just a little bit more. No, I need to do this now, or like definitely like big time was my defense on this one because like we were trying to implement a different type of defense for this fight, and I think I did the best job that I could from what I know. Uh, and like it's hindsight 2020 now is like I don't like what I didn't know, I didn't know. So now I know, I was like, okay,
Right.
like this is what I need to improve for this next fight, whenever that will be this year, and then go from there, God willing.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's kind of dive into the fight a little bit. So what was your thought process going into the fight, and just how did it feel, just throughout the whole entire sequence?
Man, thank God. Like that's gonna be the first thing I want to thank God. Like, and he truly is great because like, dude, I am a nervous wreck. It was just funny. Like I am like, but like I'm a nervous wreck, and I think anyone can tell you that. Anybody, any good fighter who cares about how they want to perform, how they want to achieve a goal, will always tell you that there will be a nervous wreck. And like during fight week, I was a big nervous wreck. Like, Vince is like doing his little hyping me up a little bit, and I was like, man, it's fight week. And I was like, I remember like the first day of fight week, I was like, dog, I was like, fuck, I got I got to fight in 6 days. It's like shit. I was like, damn.
This thing was coming up for months, and then it's finally fight where you're just like, oh shit, I gotta fight in 6 days.
It's 6 days. And then it was like, and this camp too, it was like we had to take, he forced me to stop sparring around 2 weeks out. So
Mm,
normally it's like my last sparring session would be on a Wednesday. My last sparring session was, uh, like my hard sparring session was 2 Sundays before fight week started.
mm,
So it was like I was just done. So I was like I sparred one more time on Friday, but it was like a little bit it was like a little bit lighter rounds. I only did two in the beginning and then four in the back end, which was normally like I go like 6 or 8 straight rounds. Like that's what I was doing this whole camp was 6 or 8 straight rounds, which is it felt like I was preparing for a 6 round or an 8 round fight. At a certain point, like towards the end of camp, I felt like I was definitely preparing for like I could definitely do a 6 round fight. And
yeah.
so yeah, so doing that, um, I was like, man, do I still got it? So I was like, my reaction time is good. I definitely felt a lot better, like as the days went by, because like I wasn't
Yeah.
taking any damage. So I was like healing, I was recuperating from the damage that I was taking. Like I'm accumulating other damage, but that's just from like training in general, like hand the bag, hand pads,
Right.
drilling, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was definitely nervous because of that. Going into fight week, I would have to say. Um, and didn't know if my timing was good or all that, but I had to just trust myself. And, you know, uh, it's crazy too because like God gives me like little things to like focus on during fight week. Either it's a book or either it's a TV show or like a movie. Like I'm gonna keep
Okay.
constantly watching. This time around, it was like chess. I was like,
Huh.
I want to play chess. Like, a chess kept on coming up on my Instagram feed. So I was like, man, let me download chess.com on my phone. And I started playing chess.com. I was like, dog, I was like, I played, I think in the 3 days leading up to the fight, I played around like 60 games. I lost 40
Wow.
of them. Yeah. I lost 40 games out of the 60. But the next 20, I was like either drawing or making people quit.
Okay.
So I was like, "Hey, say less." And like I legitimately learned a lot from just losing, which is good
Yeah.
because like I didn't want to go through the coaching method. I want to like learn. I was like, "Man, let me just play it and then I'll figure this out." And then I was like, "Oh,
Right.
okay." And then that actually boosted up my confidence. I was like, "Man, if I could learn a new game and do like improve, I'm good. I'm straight." And that like helped me mentally like right here. And then when I was in the back, like I wasn't as nervous. I was chilling, but then once the fight started, that nervous energy started coming up. But then I had to tell myself, I was
Uh,
like, man, like it's all right, it's all right. This is where I need to be. This not just
yeah.
telling my body's getting ready. That's all it is. And then like I'm warming up, I'm doing that. It's hot as hell in the back, so I didn't really warm up like too heavy. Yeah, which
Yeah.
was a smart thing. Because like it's like there's no reason to keep sweating super hard. Uh, did that right before I went out, which I shouldn't have done, but I slurped mango juice in like under 30 seconds
Brother,
before going out.
when somebody
So it was
told
like
me you did that, I was like, what the f-?
so it was like stuck like right here, right on the middle of my chest. And I was like, oh fudge. It was like, oh man, like and I needed a burp, but it's not like I can't burp. So I'm like going in, I'm nervous. I was like, but then like, like my walkout song happened. I walked up to the ring. I prayed and I just said, I was like, yo, God, like I'm here. Like, thank you. Thank you for an amazing camp. First and foremost, thank you for keeping me safe throughout this camp. Thank you for letting me improve myself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Whatever you have planned for me is gonna be for the best. I don't care if I fail. Like if I don't get the outcome, it is what it is. If I do get the outcome, it's great. I trust you. Whatever you have planned is the best for me. And like you're the best planners. I trust you. The only thing that I ask is let me go back home safely, back to my family today. That's it. And I got into the ring. While they were introducing me, I did my little shake. Finally burped a little bit. Still stuck though. And I was like, all right, man, we're here. We gotta get it. And the round started and we just started going. And yeah, and it was like from there, it was like going into the fight, I knew because I watched his tape. My opponent actually changed a couple times, 3 times, I think. And then,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so this last no, the guy that I fought, he came into the picture, I think like around like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I watched one fight of his. Yeah, no, one and a half fight. Like half of another fight. And and when I was watching, I knew he was gonna be fast. I just didn't think he was gonna be as fast when I got into the ring. I was like, that's amazing, and like to feel that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Uh, so what I really definitely focused on was what I was doing in sparring. Like trying to find a way to take away his jab and establishing my jab, and definitely once I started taking away his jab and started establishing my jab, my confidence grew. And I was like, oh, okay, he's not as fast. And I was like, and I was getting hit less. And yeah, like I definitely, me personally, I know how many shots I felt clean. And it was like 4 shots. I was like, anyone can say
Okay.
whatever the fuck they want. I was like in the ring, like it legitimately was just 4 shots for me, like clean. And that
Yeah.
was a cross that he landed, a right hook that he landed, and 2 crosses to the body. And
Yeah.
within that first minute, I remember when he landed those 4 shots, I was like, is this dude trying to win? Am I gonna lose? Oh, we can't let that happen. Yeah, we cannot let that happen today. My parents are here today. They spent money to come watch me. We're not letting that happen today. And then like I turned it up, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then yeah, um, coach was like, I think first round ended. Coach looked at me. I was like, hey, like you're doing a good job, but you're just bringing your hands back way too close to your face, and and his shots are getting through. Like, make sure that there's something there where he can't keep blitzing it. So keep your hands out a little bit. And I was like, I bet, say less. Then the same thing. I was like, man, like when you're getting inside, like just stay low, just bend your knees and stay low, and you'll be good. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And I did that in the second round, and yeah, I was like during that in the fight when I know I was hitting him hard, I was being explosive, but I didn't know what made him quit because he just took a knee and like I threw a combination and then like he takes a step back, I'm stepping forward to him now, and then like he just takes a knee, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, why did he quit? What did I get him with? And then I did the 10 count, won the fight. I turned back and I go up to Vince and I was like, hey, like what the fuck did I hit him with that made him quit? And he was like. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, what the fuck did I hit him with? And he was like, you didn't hit him with nothing. He just quit. I was like, all right, say less. I was like, I'm not getting nothing. So, but like after watching it, I was like, oh shit. It's like from the looks of it, I might have been just like, I don't think he expected me to thump because I knew like when I landed my jab in that first round, like when I land my first clean jab, established it,
Hmm.
his face immediately went red. So I was like, oh
Mm.
shit. So it was like I knew I was thumping. From the looks of it, I was
Hmm.
thumping so much. He was like, "Fuck!" And like I can't keep a hold of it. I can't really land clean shots on him. he might have been thinking a bunch of things like that. And then like on top of it, he's landing a lot of shots on me and he's thumping. And I was like, okay, cool. Like might as well take a knee and like not deal with this shit. So yeah, thank God like he went back home to his family safe. Yeah, I tried to go up to check on him. The nice commission lady came up to me. I was like, nah, we're not doing that right now. I was like, I was like, say that. So I was like, then I went to the next best thing was just like start celebrating. So I like started celebrating, and
Yeah.
I was like, ah, man, he's straight. And I was like, we'd be good. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I was like, I was good. I was happy. Like I'm injury free. I'm safe. My opponent's safe. We both made weight safe, so I was like, we're good. Well, actually, he didn't make weight, but I was like, we both like he showed up to the weight scale safe. He showed up to the fight safe. He left the fight safe. So, and I left the fight safe as well, and everything in between.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah, kind of going back to what you were saying about the whole you didn't know what you hit him with, or no, your thought process behind like, is he trying to win? I remember, I vividly remember that whole sequence. I saw him land a couple of clean shots on you, and then I saw you take it and then open up. I remember seeing you open up right after that, and you were just like, "Wait, what?" And then you started opening up on him, and then that's when I saw him kind of like backing away more, and he was just
Yeah,
like, "Oh, nah." He was once he felt even more once you opened up. I believe that's when his will was just broken from there. He was just like,
yeah,
"Oh no, I can't,
yeah,
I can't take these shots like." All these rounds. I'm not gonna be.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, you could have probably put him out like during the first round if you would have came out sooner with that much pressure and opened
yeah,
up like that. But of course, I understand you have to establish, your tempo, your rhythm, kind of feel the other
yeah,
fighter out and everything. I get it,
yeah, yeah,
but I feel like that would have been it in the first round if you would have opened up from the get go. It
yeah,
would have been no question. He would have been like, oh, this is what I got myself into. But
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
was trying to figure that out too for round two, what you actually hit him with. And I do remember seeing that. And I'm just saying, like he took a couple more shots and was probably trying to recuperate. And he was just like, I can't,
yeah.
I can't.
Uh, I actually hit him with the left hook, so I know I landed my shoe shine right hook. And then he took a step back while he was trying to step laterally. I threw a left hook, and I was just like, it was a beautiful left hook. Like I
Hmm.
rotated that perfectly, and it hit his head, and he like stumbled backwards. And I was like, ah, that's the shot. That was the shot, and it was like right there. And I was like, fuck, yeah. But no, I was like, it's good, it's good, it's straight. I can't nothing take nothing away from that. Like that's great. It was like. I pushed the pace, which Vince wanted me to do. Like that was the one thing that he didn't like about my last fight was that I was dilly dallying too much in that last fight
Hmm.
in the first couple rounds, and he didn't want me to do that in this fight. He was like, "No, like make his ass tired in this first round. Like the second round, he has to legitimately go into the second round. I was like, damn, I got to deal with this for another three more rounds." So I was like,
Hmm.
say less. So I was like, I kept that pressure up. I think what really helped was just, like trying to like put something in front of his face. If that was my hands, if that was a jab, my cross or something,
Hmm.
just always there. And and he couldn't land something clean. I was forcing him because like, the best way I could say it is like when you're putting a lot of pressure on people, you're forcing them to throw something. That's just like a natural trait to like throw something. Like I would even throw something, you know? But it's like you want to throw something that lands clean so you could get your respect, and then that doesn't happen. And I think what I did really well in this fight too, while I was looking back at it, looking back at the videos, I was like, I kept my distance really well. And that was, using my jab. That was the main thing. I was like, in this camp, I was really focused on. I was like, man, two fights in a row, like I haven't used my jab as I need to. And like I did use my jab in the first fight, but it wasn't like I used it for like the first round, and that's after that. I didn't really use it. This fight, I was using my jab. Everything before I started was with my jab. I was like, something has to go with the jab. Um, once I got that distance, and especially in that second round, I think that's when like landing those hard shots in that second round and within under that first minute was me just keep on throwing a jab, keep on throwing a jab, keep on throwing a jab. um, and not just at his face, like at his hands, at his chest, and then from there, like pushing him off from base and then go for it. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, it started working, and they started landing because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely saw that during the fight because I remember, comparatively speaking to the last fight, exactly what you said as far as the game plan, huge difference, and then also the weapons that you used in the fight for sure. Um, I'd say it's funny, it's different because I remember the last fight, it was a lot to the head that I saw in the last fight, but in this one, it was a lot more to the body, and it's crazy to me because of course the last fight the guy was a lot taller, but still
Mhm.
you were throwing a lot more shots to the head. And then in this fight, the guy was shorter, but you were throwing a lot more shots to the body. Was that a thought going in? What was that?
Yeah, so it's like for me, it's like if you look at my pro debut, or if you remember my pro debut, I was throwing shots to the body. Uh,
Hmm.
for me, one of the main things that I feel like my biggest thing as a fighter is that I put on a lot of great pressure, but people forget, or I even forgot in my second fight, was that, man, I was like, man, I land amazing body work. Like my body work's really good. It's not bad at all. Like when I go to the body, I could see people wilt, and that just actually helps me as a pressure fighter even more. So in like this fight, I was like, man, like let me hit him a few times to the body and see like if he really wants it. And I was like, after that, and like I went to the body early. I took this advice from Andre Ward. I was like, man, if someone's fast, someone's strong, someone's powerful, has a good chin, hit them to the body and see if they want to keep going. And I was like, all right, say less. I was like, so I can just did that. I think what helped me land those body punches, I think I would have landed those body punches regardless. The difference was doing it safely and then, or doing it recklessly. And I did it safely by having a great base, staying behind my jab, and then landing those body hooks, body crosses, and stuff like that. Once I landed those, I was like, shit. And I was like, and you know, when you like, I know when I land great body work is I could, it lands to the body, but I don't feel it. So I knew I was like digging into it. So from there, I was like, okay, cool, we're good, we're good. I was like, and I could hear him breathe, and I was like, I say less, we're good.
We could all see it too. We could all see
Yeah,
how tired that man was. Just yeah, I think I had said it out loud. I don't know if you could ever hear me yelling, but I'm not a hype person like that. But whenever someone that I support is doing something, I go to the next level. I'm
yeah.
up here standing in front. Yeah, Mo. Yeah, that's what. And I was like,
Funny enough,
he
funny
don't like
enough.
that to the body. Keep getting them to the body. That's what
My
I was
wife's gonna
yelling
hear
out
this,
there.
and she's gonna be tight. But I could actually hear my wife. I
Okay.
heard, I heard,
Okay.
I heard Vince. Definitely, I heard
Yeah.
Vince. Definitely heard Steph. But I definitely heard my wife, and my wife was in like
Yeah.
I think the fourth or fifth row, and she was like, "Go to the body." I was like, "Oh, that's that's my baby there." I was like, "Say less, baby. I got you."
I got you. Yeah. That's crazy because I'm telling you, once I saw like you hit him to the body and he started moving away more and then he started breathing a little heavier. And once again, like I'm saying, I'm pretty sure you saw his facial expression. You were just like,
Mhm.
okay. I put a comment like I don't know if when you saw the repost, but I said pressure and then power. It's like
Def-
that pressure along with feeling that power.
different,
Hey,
different.
what are you gonna do when that
Uh,
like and you slow down like you're not utilizing your special weapon anymore, you know? So, but
yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
I
No,
feel
it's
like
like.
whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was like, for me, it was like when I was watching his tape, it was like he had a fast jab. So I was like, man, I
Hmm.
need to take this jab away immediately. And like that's what like me and Vince were always talking about. I was like, man, like you just take away these people's jabs, and the only thing you got to worry about is their cross or their backhand, and then and that's it. And I was like, and if as long as you see the backhand, you're good. I mean, you could pull, you could catch, you could parry off the top, do whatever you want. It's your choice. But I was like, it's the thing is that you gotta take away their lead hand from doing it. He even tried to throw a hook. I was like, I was putting my hands up, and I was like, man, nah, like you can't. And I was like, even in the inside, and he had to be in the inside. I felt like I was getting better of him in the inside. I was just doing a good job of stepping off right after I did my work, did that, and you know, and I really have to thank my sparring partners for that because that's the only way like I could build off. Like yeah, like shadow boxes, yeah, I did pad work, yeah, I was back doing bag work and practicing that, but it was like all that is like not hitting me back. It was through my sparring, me and me doing this consistently with my sparring partners that I was able to do this in the fight. So shout out to everybody at Fight Fitness Center. Thank you again to Coach Anthony and Terrence, and thank you again to Coach Monette and his fighter and Coach Ali for just helping facilitate all the sparring or most of the sparring for this camp. And shout out to Coach Vince for uh, just saying the right things and just making sure like I did those right things. You know, it was like legitimately one of the biggest. I took pride in it because I had coaches coming up to me and saying that I was good or they wanted to keep working with me. And I had coaches going up to Vince afterwards, which Vince told me later. I was like, man, like they said a lot of good things about you. And I was like, doing good. And I was like, man, like, yeah, like I did the work, but I was like, who's the one who's teaching me and who's the one who's putting the work with me on that? And that's you. So I was like, shout out to Coach Vince for that. And I was like, I got to give him his flowers because that man, dude, like does a lot. Like, and he's taking the time to not only learn the sport, but making sure me as a fighter, I'm getting the best education out of it and improving the way I need to be improving so I could take bigger and better fights and keep challenging myself and keep going towards those fights where now it's like, oh man, like I'm gonna have to do these 50-50 fights soon and I'm gonna have to do more rounds. Like right now I'm doing 4 rounders. I'm gonna have to eventually do 6, 8, 10, and then 12. So this is where we're building that up, and then that's all of him and me working together and doing that. It takes a team. It never takes one person. Like I can't take all that credit. I was like
Yeah, yeah.
I got a great head coach. I have a great strength and conditioning coach. I have a great nutritionist. Uh, even though what you call it, she tells me I need to be doing better. A few things when it comes to my nutrition. Yeah, and I have I have great teammates. I have great people around me. Shout out to all the promoters. Shout out to both promoters, Coach Ali, Pete Fernandez, for giving me the opportunity to still be competing at home in my hometown, or I won't say hometown, but like right now where I'm residing at, and building my career and doing it the right way. So like I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a really solid way to start to wrap this thing up. So what's next for you?
Let's see. I know there's gonna be a couple cards in September and November. Definitely want to fight one more time. I think one more, and then after that, we could call it a season for this year, and then go for the next year, and work towards
Okay.
that. Got a few things. It's amazing. It was like I only fought like 4 minutes, or actually less than 4 minutes in that fight, and I got a few things that I saw that I wanna work on. I'm gonna show that to Vince as well, the video. So I'm pretty sure he will have some things as well for me to focus on, and go from there. Right now, it's just improve, keep getting better. Focusing on my skill work, focusing on my strength and conditioning, making sure my weight stays low. I think this year has been challenging because of the fact that I stay so active. My weight's been low. I have to watch myself where I'm not gaining too much weight in
Mhm.
between fights. I've been keeping up with my strength and conditioning, which has helped me stay relatively injury free. I know I have like a few like nicks here and there, but that's about it. That's just normal fighting, and then like skills. Like
Mhm.
I'm just improving my skills. That's it.
Yeah.
My wife's good. I'm good. So we're straight. Oh, grab your merch, by the way. Link in bio. But yeah, that's about it.
Gotcha. We'll make sure to put that down in the description box whenever I post this up on YouTube so people can get that.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
you
bro.
covered
Come
on
on,
that.
yeah. Yeah, appreciate you, appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Well,
Shameless
once
plug,
again,
baby.
shameless plug. He's just like, yeah, we're plugging this. Hey, look, he's trying to make some money off this thing. If you enjoy watching, go ahead and purchase the merch. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on again, and congratulations. And as always, I enjoy working with you. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yes, sir.